Welcome everyone. I'm your host, Nick, of the Omniverse of Nick, and welcome to part 3 of What If Tatum Riley Survived, or Tatum's Survival. Now, like always, before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and share and comment your favorite part or parts of ongoing or past stories, as well as future recommendations for what ifs and general discussion, which you can also keep tabs with for the future of this channel in the Google Doc in the description of this video and all posts and videos. So, let's get into the first half of Scream 2 with Tatum Riley. So, we wrapped up part 2 of 2 with Scream 1 last time with Tatum, and now we're getting into part 1 of 2 with Scream 2. I know that might have just been a handful, but anyways, the opening kills take place the same. Then we get into the school and Sydney's life and everything that happened to her, which all of that would pretty much be the exact same, except for one major thing. Tatum would be there all the way. Not only because it would be making sense as to where she would go after this point, but because she would be the perfect thing and person to be around Sydney, especially after everything that happened. Not only for her sanity and character, but Sydney's as well, because they're best friends. We then get to the classroom scene, and then Sydney and Randy talking, and then, after we get Sydney and the revelation of Derek, and that their relationship is there, and Randy would still make the comment about, like, Sydney and all that stuff, Tatum would be around and just smile at Randy, because she would be in the classroom too, and would just smile at his way of thinking and who he is and all that, and Randy would smile back because, come to find out, during this time skip, they actually got into a relationship. I did it in my Casey story, and even though Randy, spoiler alert, will not survive as long as I made him in my Casey story, I will be making their relationship even more important. Sydney and Dewey then reunite, with Dewey afterwards having a conversation with his sister. And this would actually be quite the step up from how that dynamic went, since Tatum we never saw too much of Tatum and Dewey since she died right at the end of the first film. So having a heart-to-heart conversation, even though Tatum would have plenty of sass and sarcasm and be like Dewey overprotective, and more of what we saw in the first film, except spanned out more because Tatum would actually be very happy to see Dewey here, since it would be quite a significant amount of time, sort of, since they saw each other last. So a real heart-to-heart sibling talk would be really nice here for the two of them. Dewey would then see Gale and Kenny, who Tatum and Dewey would have also talked about reluctantly, especially considering Dewey and Gale's relationship. And then we get Cotton Weary and Gale and that whole thing, and Sydney proceeding to beat the ever-loving tar out of Gale. And by ever-loving tar, I mean slapping her across the face. But it doesn't stop there. Tatum unleashes a few kicks and punches of her own, not willing to step down when Sydney is and when everyone's trying to hold her back, and also roasting the crap out of Gale for thinking that just for 1 second, Tatum thought she would be different. Well, there goes that thought. We then get Cece's death, and Ghostface attacking Sydney in the house, and the first few seconds of that going the same. And I say few seconds because Tatum would be there with Sydney and Derek. So, she, hilariously again, would either throw beer bottles or vases or whatever, some form of glass, funny skit for Tatum to be fighting Ghostface, in time for Derek to get in the house and all of them put Ghostface on the ground. Because, let's be honest here, even Tatum alone and Sydney would have been able to do this. Derek was just the extra leverage. Ghostface is unmasked on the ground to reveal Mickey Altery. Very early. And Mickey just smiles, not only as how much fighter Sydney and Tatum are, but just the fact that he calls Derek a bodyguard, sort of thing. And I mean, in the sense of things, kind of right. Kind of. And he would proceed to try to turn Derek and Sydney and Tatum against each other, like he did with Sydney and Derek before he shot him. But that works even less now with Tatum around. So Mickey tries a different approach. He says that they might have gotten him, but there's still a killer out there. And whatever they're planning, it's going to be much more harder to locate that killer than they all think. And they're all going to die just like Maureen, Prescott, Billy, and Stu. But before he can even continue going down the line of close people and relatives and everything that have been killed to try and turn them against each other and make them all angry, Sydney just beats the crap out of him and puts him more on the ground, close to death. But Dewey says that there's one thing that can at least save Mickey's skin from less time in prison compared to his partner, wherever they may be, is tell them who and where this killer is. But Mickey says he has gotten nothing to say, and that number one, should have killed him. Number two, he should have killed Sydney whenever he had the chance. And now they're going to be scrambling their brains, and that makes his trial and everything that he's going for all the more better. And that he blames the trial and all that, his whole plan. And then we get a talk with Dewey and Randy, with Tatum there, about the second horror movie rules and them actually scrambling their brains, trying to figure out who the second killer might be. Soon enough, Randy gets a call, and everyone is on the lookout in the park for Ghostface. Phones, everything. But now it's even more a problem. Tatum and Randy are by themselves, while Dewey and Gail and Kenny and them go to look for the killer. Will Mrs. Loomis, who we know is the second killer, will she be able to get Randy in this timeline with Tatum around? Will Tatum be able to protect Randy, or will she join the cause in a much more gruesome and paired together relationship death? Or has Mrs. Loomis unknowingly put herself in a situation where there's no coming back from? And that's it for this episode. What do you guys think will happen next? How'd you like this episode, and what's your favorite part so far of part 1 of 2 of Scream 2 with Tatum? Be sure, as always, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite part or parts of ongoing or past stories, as well as future recommendations for what-ifs and general discussion. You can see in the Google Doc in the description of this video and all posts and updates and all that. Stay tuned for next time, ending off Scream 2 and getting into Scream 3 with Tatum Riley. I'll see you guys then.